All right, thank you. Andy, good to see you, man.
How's it going, man?
Just real quick. I'm great. Sorry, I totally spaced. I should do a quick intro. Welcome to 646. My name is Dawson McManus. We're here with Andy Scullin. I'm saying, I've actually only ever seen your name written down. Am I saying that right?
Absolutely correct. Scullin, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right, killer. From Unsigned Unwind and Unsigned 518, and from the oh my gosh, I was listening to you guys this afternoon.
Shortwave Radioband.
Radioband. Yes, thank you. I'm so sorry. That's embarrassing.
No. You know, it's funny because that name gets confused all the time, like all the time. It's that's a story for another day. But yeah.
Well, we got that went down the wrong hole. This is a great start. This is what happens when you let a bass player have a podcast.
Two bass players on a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, dude, you really buried the lead. You were very self-deprecating. I should back up just a hair, I guess. We met at Gussapalooza. You had your booth up there. Oh, God. I was there with Pet Rock Radio, and it was an absolute riot. And the first thing I noticed was that you had all kinds of slasher flick stickers on everything. And I was like,
yeah,
all right, I'm going to talk to this dude.
Yeah, that's
you also
my
had
stuff.
You also had that sick pork pie hat and the whole look. And I was like, okay, this dude looks cool. So we gotta hang.
You and Brent were actually the first two people that I met. Like, I met you literally 4 minutes after driving 9 hours straight and pulling directly into Gussapalooza. I saw Russ first thing. He brought me over to my tent space. I met you and Brent like right out of the gate. So,
oh, nice. Cool. Well, it was man, it was so cool having you as our neighbor because I feel anyway like we hit it off pretty much instantly.
Yeah.
Which was, and I mean, kind of makes sense. Bass players, and
right.
So the rhythm section, you know, it's like either a bassist or a drummer, and I'm probably gonna like you immediately. Nothing against singers and guitar players.
Nothing at all.
They're important too. I guess.
I do a little singing as well. I sing lead on. I sing lead on a couple of songs, but you know.
Okay, so actually, I have questions about that because
Sure.
When I was listening to you guys this morning, I did notice that there was a vocal timbre shift between a couple of tracks. So, what tunes are you singing lead on?
I sing lead on "Don't Care," "Someday," "So Long the Hopeful." We've lost our minds, but we're having fun. I think those are the four.
Okay.
Those are the four that I do. And then Lonnie, who's the lead guitarist, sings lead on a lot of the other ones, most of the other ones. Ryan, who's the rhythm guitarist, sings lead on like the reggae song Johnny Dope. And then
that's a great tune.
Abby, our trumpet player, sings lead on some songs when we play live. We haven't recorded her yet singing lead, but that's coming. Soon.
Okay. She's not the one singing Jingle Bell Rock?
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. Fuck yeah. Oh, can I swear on this?
You can absolutely swear on this.
Okay, yes. Good. Yes, she sang lead on our straight up cover of Jingle Bell Rock. We wanted to, like, that was funny because, you know, a lot of the times when bands do covers of like familiar songs like that, you know, they do them in their style and change it. And we were like, let's just do straight up, like, what is it? Bobby Darin? Is that? I don't know, whoever the like OG one was, we were like, let's just do a straight up note for note cover of Jingle Bell Rock. And that bass line, you should check that out. Like, that bass line opened up like a whole new world for me. Because, like,
yeah, it's a great line.
I'm a punk rock bassist, and I'm not really like a walking bass line or like a, you know, I'm more like a root note dude.
I was just going to say, well, because I was at Gus, you were talking about, you're like, I just run eighth notes on the root. And then I listened to the Jingle Bell Rock. I'm like, you're playing a walk.
Right.
This
but
is
that,
a walking
I
line.
had to learn that. Like, you know, I had to learn, and I still think I know. I still think I know it, but like, I had to learn that, and that was like completely out of my wheelhouse. But it opened up new like, you know what I mean? It like clicked where I was like, oh, okay, like I get, like, you know, you start with the root notes and then you're literally just walking to the next one and following this path. So like I've written or, you know, done bass line stuff based on Jingle Bell Rock.
Oh, dude, I know exactly what you mean. There were so many lines that I learned earlier on, and those were the genesis of other riffs and bass lines or chord progressions or whatever that I ended up coming up with later. Because it's like, well, here's a great example for as an early bassist for me anyway was Longview off of Dookie by Green Day.
Right? Is that what that one is?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So like the verse section, that section that we were just humming, that's a 5/4 chord progression in A major, right? So it's like a Mixolydian thing on the 5 chord, and it goes to this cool Lydian thing, which is totally what you would call diatonic, like not leaving the key. And that's the line. Even in the break, the ba-doon ding doodly doo 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 doo, that's still just on the 5 chord. It's the exact same chord,
right?
But because the guitar is laying out, it's just bass, drums, and vocals. The vocal fills in the rest of the harmony that's required, and then obviously Trey Cool is playing that super slick tom groove, which is so perfect, and it just highlights everything. So understand that was one of the first, other than Johnny Be Good, that Johnny Be Good and Longview, which are very different lyrically.
But they lay foundations, you know what I mean? They have like the foundations like very clearly there, and once you see it, you're like, oh, like it can help you. And I'm not, like, I know you are, but like I'm not much of a music theory guy. Like it's all like very new to me, like learning music theory. But like songs like those, like for anybody who's new in the game, like songs like those literally give you a tutorial on how to create your own stuff, but stay within like the rules of the theory, I guess, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And then what's really cool too is the deeper I've gone, the more I've realized that there's really no, like, it ended up coming full circle back to what I thought in the first place was that there really aren't any rules except the question, does it sound good?
Right.
If the answer is yes, check mark, you're playing the right notes. If the answer is no, well, look for something else. you know? And then that's where, you know, also subjectivity really starts to take over, because I'm a huge fan of dissonance. I think that, you know, really, well, when appropriate, I should say, when something is really dissonant, I'm like, oh yeah, like Alice in Chains as an example. I'm a massive fan of when they go really like, do you know their song Wood?
Yeah, of course. It's about Andrew Wood of Mother Love Bone.
Right.
I know.
Yes,
like
yes,
we can talk. Like the Seattle shit that's my shit. Like I'm like a I'm like a Seattle early '90s grunge historian, dude. Like,
oh, dude, I'm such a Sub Pop kid. Like that is my jam.
Yeah.
And if you listen to my music, you'll be like, oh, I see where you've stolen everything.
Appropriated, not stolen, or is appropriated now not a great word either.
Where I'm influenced,
right?
I guess.
Right.
Well, I grew up on Vancouver Island in the '90s, right?
Oh, okay.
So that whole everything just filtering up from Seattle into BC was a direct pipeline for us. So all that stuff was so massively influential, and then even the stuff that wasn't necessarily on Sub Pop, all those bands in and around that scene were things that just, I don't know, they permeated my friend group in a way that we were like, this is the only shit. And it was, you know, it was like that for a long time. And then you find other stuff. But actually, speaking of 90s and all that, I do notice a huge amount of that 90s kind of punk, kind of ska feel in what you guys do, especially when I started to hear the trumpet coming into stuff. I'm like, oh, dude, this is like Real Big Fish, Safe Ferris. This is so great. I love this stuff.
But I feel like we do it in a way that like balances that line where you can't call us a ska band. You know what I mean? But you also can't like call us like straight up alternative band or like a punk band. But like you're right, like having that like in the mix, and like that's what I love about creating original music, is that you can take like the, like for example, like you said Real Big Fish, like Less Than Jake are like in like my top 10 favorite bands of all time still to this day.
Nice.
But like we're not, our music isn't similar to it, but the trumpet is a nice little like bridge to it where you can be like, see, we like some of this, we like some of that. Like I don't know if you're a fan of the Pixies.
Oh yeah.
But now that you know that, like, listen to our music and tell me you don't hear the Pixies. Like, the Pixies are very prevalent in our music, or like bass lines from NoFX. Like some punk.
Yes,
punk bass lines very prevalent in it. But when you mix them all together, it's original. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like the what I was trying. It was funny too, because when I listen to stuff, I try to pinpoint where I hear things coming in. NoFX was a big one that I heard for sure. Basically it was like, okay, what is sort of punk, I don't want to say adjacent, but like what is surround, you know what I mean, that Venn diagram of late 80s early 90s kind of feel good punk, like NoFX, like Safe Ferris, like Real Big Fish, all these. And then with the more reggae style stuff, it's like, okay, there's some Sublime influence. There's, and like maybe like super duper early No Doubt, maybe. I don't know if, or maybe I'm just reading into it because I mean, like that stuff.
We do a pretty fucking spot on cover of No Doubt's Just a Girl with Abby singing lead on that, and
that's my favorite No Doubt song.
Oh yeah, I mean I love No Doubt, like, and literally like every band that you just mentioned, I'm like, I don't know if you see me nodding my head, but I'm like, yep, listen to them, yep, love them. And I liked all the like feel good stuff at the same time that I listened to like, like Slayer and Ministry, and at the same time that I listened to Bob Marley, at the same time that I listened to Alice in Chains, like, so I was like, I listened to all those things like in the same day, you know what I mean? Like, I had some wild mixtapes back in the day,
Dude, I hear you. I gave a mixtape to a girl once in high school that had, and I'm not even exaggerating, it had Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce and Creeping Death by Metallica.
Yeah, see,
on the same
like perfect.
Yeah,
but like if you listen to the lyric, if you strip away all the music and you listen to the lyrics of both of those songs, tell me that they're not the fucking same. They're both about getting old and time slipping away. You've got I wish I could save time in a bottle, and I've got death creeping up on me. You know what I mean? Like they're the same thing.
Yeah.
So they belong on the same mixtape. Like, I support you on that.
It was. Thank you. She thought it was weird, which is fine.
You like how I just riffed on those two songs?
I do. It's funny. The lyric to Creeping Death, I used to write that by hand all the time because it was one of the first that and Time in a Bottle, because there were two songs that made me cry when I was 16 that I'd never experienced a song making me get like legitimately emotional.
I love that
both
shit.
Of them were Jim. Yeah, me too. Both of them were Jim Croce. The first one was Operator, or in parentheses, That's Not the Way It Feels. I don't know if you know that song.
Operator, can you help me make this call? No, never heard it.
Yeah, of course. I love that song so much. Oh my God, what a heartbreaker. When he gets to the part when he's like, I I can't read the number that you just gave me. There's something in my eyes. You know it happens every time. I think about the love that I thought would save me. It's like, oh my God. That is so ruthless. That is so ruthless. It's like, what a brutal lyric. Anyway, it was that and Time in a Bottle, but Time in a Bottle was more about how he now had the love that he was looking for as opposed to the lost love from Operator. But both of them made me legitimately shed tears, which had never happened before from a song. Had the hairs stand up on end many, many times,
right.
Which actually happened with Creeping Death, because that was like I started to say before I jumped off. Sorry about that. It was the first one that I had read a tune that was so biblically referenced, because it deals a lot with the 7 plagues of Egypt, and that freaked me out. I was like, whoa, what the hell? This is crazy. And just used to write those lyrics. A bunch of bands, really. I don't know if you did this as a kid. You probably did.
I did.
Just write the lyrics out to songs over and over. Yeah. I love doing that shit.
Yeah, and, I'm lucky that I'm like old enough where I missed like the like MySpace generation, where like people would just make like statuses that were just fucking gloomy lyrics from like My Chemical Romance and shit. And so I'm lucky I'm old enough to have missed that. But yeah, I just wrote mine in a notebook and nobody ever saw them. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I would have been the first wave of the MySpace generation. Like, we were using like ICQ and then MSN Messenger, and then I don't know how old I would have been. Probably like 17 or something when MySpace was starting to get really big.
Oh, Jesus.
So, I'm 39.
I was like, I'm 51, so. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeesh.
But I mean,
you're the same age. You're the same age as my wife, though.
Oh,
so,
hey.
To put that into perspective.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. No one ever says like "good for her." Like you know, like they're not.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I felt like that was.
No,
I felt like that was implied. She married a bass player.
Right.
Like, it's one of the most. If you're going to marry a musician, that's one of the more stable ones you can land.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if stable is one of the words that I've ever used to describe myself. Like, especially if you could see the room that I'm in. Like, it's it looks like a 12-year-old's dream room. Yeah.
Well, I don't. Here, I'll try to show you a little bit of this. Here, I'll spin this around a little. There's some kit. I don't know.
It looks like professional. Yeah. It looks
Wow.
professional. Here,
Yeah.
I can flip the camera on mine and show you what I got going on.
All right, let's take a look. Oh, dude. That is rad, man.
Yeah. We call it the Dazzle Den. It's kind of a hot mess right now, but yeah, we call it the Dazzle Den. It's
awesome.
where the band practices, where I do all my podcasting, and where I do all my editing, and where I do all my music and stuff. And basically, it's my garage. But, my wife conceded the garage to me when we bought the house. She was like, you can do whatever you want with it. And this is what I chose. I got a Miss Pac-Man machine right over here, too.
What? Dude, that is so cool.
Yeah, and the room can convert. Half the room splits in half, and I've got a movie screen that I pull across, and we put the projector up. And it'll rear project.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, and we call it the Dazzleplex. And we
that's so cool.
We plug all the audio into like the fucking PA. So like we have really loud surround sound and
that's
we watch.
So sick.
We watch and it has to be like a theater appropriate. It can't just be like any movie. It has to be one that's like going to be enhanced by the theater experience.
Right. Dude, that's rad. That's so funny. It's like a bass player with a podcast that converted like a residential space into their creative space. That's basically the same thing over here, man.
Perfect.
So it's like, this is my basement, and
basement, garage. It's awesome.
Yeah, and same sort of thing. We got the house, and I was like, I'm gonna turn this basement into a quote unquote studio. And this is, again, so where all the podcasting, every once in a while I do work with I work with a commercial studio called Treblecock Studios in Peterborough, and
I heard that name.
They had a booth at Gus.
Okay, all right, cool, that makes sense.
The owner of the studio, David Joyce, he was there.
Cool. Yeah, we should talk about Gus at some point, because
we have to.
Yeah, not only the whole festival, but next year's. I've already got plans.
Me too.
I want to get one of the bands down here on the lineup at Gussapalooza. Like, and I'm gonna. Yeah, man. I already know, like, and there's so many down here. So, like, any bands down here that are listening, it's not like I was like, but like, the band Erie, like, they are already fit the thing where they travel. They already travel. So, like, my band, like, I would never be like, yeah, hey guys, want to go play a gig in fucking Canada? We'd be like, no, like. My band, a couple of the guys, they have like teenagers and like, kids in college, and it's like, they're like, no, I am not going anywhere. But I'm going to be there. My wife's going to be there for sure. I'm going to bring a bunch more people, and then I'm going to try to get one of our bands down here on the lineup. So I'm already planning. That's awesome. It's going to be awesome.
That's sick. I know Brent and I are going again next year. Going to be applying to get I wonder if my cable just cacked out there. I'm going to be applying to get, if I can, we'll see what happens. I'm going to apply anyway to get my band hopefully on the bill.
Nice.
I think it'd be really fun.
Hell yeah.
I feel it. Oh man, the headphones. I want to feel it. You know what I mean? Oh, I think it is my mic. No, it's definitely my mic.
You having some mic issues?
Yeah, a little bit. That's okay. I'll
fix it and
put
post.
A disclaimer in. Yeah.
I am recording you on my end too, so I could send you.
Yeah, if I needed some fill in, that would be great.
Yeah.
Because
some
my audio
patchwork.
feed. yeah, that's right. Be very clearly different audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just a slight difference in audio is better than silence.
Absolutely. Yeah. You could tell that this is a home rig.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because a lot of the times, because my podcast like is done, like, if you could see where again, I'm standing in a garage and I'm like recording into a little portable thing. I've got a lot of duct tape happening so that nothing comes unplugged. Remember when the power lost? Remember what happens when that happens? So now I'm like super paranoid. So I like duct tape the like thing in, like, but it sounds good, and that's so a lot of people like really think that, like, and I always talk about the studio, and like I'm in the Dazzle Den, my studio, and like sometimes I'm like, when they come over, I'm like, you maybe lower your expectations of what of what the quote unquote studio is, because it is just a basement or a concrete slab floor garage. So yeah, don't expect too much. I just talk it up like it's a real thing, but so same.
Dude, I do the same thing. It's like, when people start to come over, it's like to the studio, it's like, yeah, I have like an 8-foot ceiling, so
totally. I do the same thing. Like yeah, it's a garage. It's and like we're redoing a bunch of piping in our house, so like we're replacing copper pipe with the PEX stuff. So like at the moment, there's like a good, like, I don't know, 1/8 of the ceiling in the room that I'm in that is completely fucking torn out with like pipes hanging off it that, you know, so we got to sheetrock it back in. So, yeah. It's all illusion.
Oh, that'll be sweet when it's done, though.
Oh, I am so excited. Like, a lot of it is done, and I am so excited because, you know, we bought this house like 3 years ago, and it's been interesting. It's been interesting being a homeowner yeah, it's interesting. A lot of shit happens that I am ill prepared for. I'm not a handy person, Dawson. I am about as handy enough to grab my phone and be like, okay, let's see some we got some plumbers in our area, you know? Like,
dude, so much of the stuff that's been fixed up in my house is either done by one of two of my brother-in-laws, or my wife and I have sussed out via YouTube University.
Oh, no. So, yeah, my wife's way more handy than I am. She fixes it. She fixes things and can like she can fix things. Whereas I think for me, I just get frustrated, and you know, my Irish temper just like all Irish tempers have different trigger points, I think, and like mine is frustration. Like if I get frustrated, I'm like, oh, I turn into like Yosemite Sam. Like, so if I can't figure something out, I'm like, I can't do this. Whereas she's like very rational and level-headed, and it's like, well, let's look at it this way. And like,
yeah, that sounds very familiar. So my free version of Zoom is telling me that we're gonna have to start a new room in a couple of minutes, and I'm so embarrassed that that's happening. But
just edit it out, and we'll take a little pause.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do in about 6 minutes. So
you want to just do a pause now to make it natural?
Yeah, we probably should. I'm so sorry, dude.
No, hey. That's the joy of not doing live shit.
Right? All right.
Yeah.
Pause for the cause. We'll fix this. I'll send you another link in a sec. Okay. There. It should be fine now. Got it in that right angle that it's not gonna short. Okay. We're back. Sorry about that, everybody. And no one else is gonna know that took longer than it should have.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, not at all.
So,
or how much weed I smoked in the interim.
Oh, nice. I
had time.
I've not been smoking in quite a while, actually. I had a wicked experience where I didn't smoke for like 4 months. I was on tour in the States when weed was still super illegal everywhere. This was in like 2000.
Right.
I want to say 2009, 2010, something like that. So, except for, I think Colorado and Washington, I think were the only two.
Yeah, Washington State, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think Washington State was the first one, and I think Colorado was the second.
Oh, okay. So I maybe
like as far as like state, like you're probably accurate, because I think those were the two first ones. Now it's, I don't even know, a lot of them, most of them.
I think it's something crazy, like 39 or 40 states are recreationally legal. I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be something like that. I mean, even in my small town here, we have dispensaries opening up right here in my town, but we couldn't grow because like you couldn't grow your own until 18 months after the first dispensary was opened.
Huh.
For whatever reason, that was like the rule. But now we're like approaching 2 years since we've had dispensaries. So like this was the first summer, I believe, that people could grow legally. But
oh, nice.
I don't think anybody would have done anything if
I'll be honest,
they caught them last summer or whatever.
I can't remember when.
It's where it should be.
Yeah,
it's a plant. It should be.
I agree. Should
have never been illegal.
No. Well, it was all William Randolph Hearst and Smedley Butler that really pushed.
Didn't it have something to do with like the the paper mills, and
because
they realized that like they could make paper out of cannabis for much cheaper, and then the paper mills were like, oh, that won't do,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Hearst Publications, they didn't just own mills, but they actually owned forests for their mills to put out newspapers. And when I want to say it was Popular Science magazine put out this headline that was hemp, the new billion-dollar textile, and billion-dollar crop, maybe. I can't remember the exact title. Anyway, because they had hemp fibers used to be really, really hard to process, and then this machine called the decorticator was invented, which could process it way more easily than paper milling. And not only was it awesome for rope, you could actually make a borderline concrete out of it called hempcrete, and you could make all kinds of crazy shit out of it. Even I want to say it was Ford, the automotive company, were using it. They were using it to make bumpers, and there's video of, I'm almost positive it's even Henry Ford, smashing this hemp bumper with a hammer, and it's just bouncing off of it, because it's also super lightweight, right? So, but incredibly strong. It's great for clothes, and even the term canvas for painting and stuff, all those really old paintings are done on hemp, because canvas comes from cannabis. That's where the word actually is derived from. And so Hearst, when he thought that his fortune basically was in jeopardy because the decorticator came out, he's like, fuck that. And he started publishing, because he owned the newspaper, so he could control the narrative basically. And so
you own the media,
exactly,
you get the narrative.
Yeah, and so he started, he was actually one of the people that started coining it as marijuana, which is not what cannabis is. Marijuana is a slang for a wild Mexican tobacco. It's not even the same plant. And which is
no shit.
Yeah, no shit. It's crazy. And he started,
I call it weed.
Yeah, well, I think that's what most of us call it now. But he started saying all this crazy shit in his newspaper that black dudes and Mexican dudes were smoking marijuana and raping white women. And
I do know that narrative.
Yeah, I have heard that. Absolutely bonkers and totally nonsense, because like, even if you wanted to do something,
excuse,
it was
to be racist and shit.
Yeah, and also to illegalize this thing that was going to jeopardize his income. And so he just wanted to scare people, and figured the easiest way to scare uptight white people was to say that people that don't look like you are doing bad things on this quote unquote drug. So that guy was an asshole.
Yeah. That guy was an asshole. Yeah. Fuck you, William Randolph Hearst.
Yeah, you fucking dick. Sorry, that was a...
I'll go on record with that.
That was such a weird departure.
It was a weird tangent, but that's why I love this shit. Yeah. I love what we do, because like I always tell people before they come on my podcast, I'm like, we'll start talking about this, and then I just go with that, and then wherever, wherever it goes.
Absolutely, anyway.
Like if we talk about 50 sci-fi movies for an hour, that's fine. I don't care.
We can talk about sci-fi. We totally talk about sci-fi.
I'm more of a horror dude than sci-fi, though.
Sometimes they cross over, like the original Alien.
Sometimes, but just like in what was it, House of a Thousand Corpses, where what was it? It was Rainn Wilson, and then who's that other dude?
Which one? There were a few guys in that flick.
I can't remember. He did the Nerdist podcast.
Oh,
fuck, can't remember his name. But anyway, they played the characters, and he was talking about, are you into like the spooky shit? And he's like, I like, like UFOs. He's like, Space Boy. And Rob Zombie and his brother, of Power Man 5000, who's like a sci-fi band, and Rob Zombie's the horror guy. So I feel like there are those two camps, but that was showing that they definitely crossover,
Dude,
the sci-fi guys hang out with the horror guys.
I need to introduce you to a friend of mine. He runs a podcast called Steal My Name podcast, and it's a film podcast, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's a great show. It's most of the time it's just him ranting for like an hour about why these movies are so great and what's so cool about them. And it's not like a scene by scene breakdown thing. It's more, he does talk about technical parts of certain scenes and stuff, and he talks about the writers, and he gets like into the real nitty gritty. But he's first and foremost, this dude lives Halloween like it's every day. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. He's been on this show. I've been on his show. I should connect you guys, because I think you'd really hit it off, because he's not only
for sure. And you know, because I'm doing a Halloween episode for my podcast. This will be my second one. But do you know the movie Sleepaway Camp?
I don't know.
So look it up. It's a early 80s. I think it was like 82 or 83. Friday the 13th ripoff, which was a Halloween ripoff.
Right.
But it was like a camp slasher movie, and it's very cheesy, but it's one of those like so bad that it's good type of movies.
Nice.
It's got great rewatch value, and it was filmed like 10 minutes from where I'm standing right now.
Oh, no way.
Where the whole thing was filmed. Yeah. And I, through a friend, got permission from the owner of the property now to go there. I'm going there Tuesday of day after tomorrow. I'm going there to record a segment for my Halloween episode on location.
Dude, that's sick.
Where Sleepaway Camp was filmed. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Dude, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'll definitely have to hook you up with this guy. I think you guys would probably have a riot talking about this kind of shit, because he's...
Yeah, because my expertise is definitely in that like 80s horror stuff. I'm not one of those guys that is like super duper current on like I haven't even seen, whatever the big horror movies the last like couple of years are.
I couldn't tell you.
I will see them eventually, but like for me, it's all, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Sleepaway Camp, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw, like those that are in the 80s, and that's where my expertise is.
You and Bob would be friends. You guys would be fast friends. Yeah,
hook it up. I'd love to talk about that stuff.
Absolutely. I'll shoot you a link to his show too, so you can give it a listen, because the dude is, I don't know how he holds all this shit in his head. He's a human encyclopedia. It's fucking crazy, because it's now his heart is in horror and sci-fi and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it almost doesn't matter if you ask him about most movies. He'll tell you so much more than what your question was. He'll just be like, and then this and this and this. And you're like, what the fuck, dude?
That used to be me a lot. Like, and it's funny, like as I get older, I know about less stuff coming out. You know what I mean? Like, when I was in my early 20s, I knew everything about, in my head, I knew everything about everything with like movies. I was up to date with like everything, and now like, I'll hear about movies with actors that I'm very familiar and be like, never even heard of this movie, and it came out like 3 years ago. Like, what the hell? Like, I love John Cusack. How do I not know about his movies? I don't know why I said John Cusack.
Because Gross Point Blank was fucking awesome.
It was. Yeah.
He's been in so many good movies.
I saw John Cusack in a surf shop once when he was dating Nev Campbell.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it was in LA. I moved to LA for like, I don't know, 75 seconds,
right,
and then moved back home. No, but I was out there for like a year, maybe 1 year, maybe not even. But that place sucks. But anyway, saw John Cusack in a surf shop, and I was like so busy paying attention to, hey, that's John Cusack over there. And as I was walking out the door, I like wasn't paying attention, and I bumped into this lady, and like kind of like, oh my God, I'm sorry, and it was Nev Campbell. So.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I know, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But
LA
still sucks.
I haven't been there in a very long time. Actually, when I was before we had to it was after we restarted when we were talking about the weed thing. I was in LA for a week and a half maybe, and then I was in San Fran for maybe not quite in San Fran. We were in Sausalito, so just outside for like 2 weeks.
All right.
In San Francisco, outside of, very nice, very very nice. Sausalito's a killer area.
I was there like
hiking
25 years ago, so it was a long time ago.
Okay, I was there in, what did I say, 2009-ish, 2010-ish, somewhere in that region anyway. So to finish that thought, the reason I don't smoke that much anymore is when I got back to Canada after not smoking for like 4 months, I tried to smoke the way that I did before I took a dry spell, and just freaked out for like 6 hours and total existential dread. It was like, oh my God. And ever since then, if I smoke weed with any kind of like strength to it, I just absolutely freak, and it's not fun anymore. So I keep extraordinarily.
Right, that sucks.
It does suck. I mean, it's a lot cheaper. Although I because we can legally grow our own here. A few years ago, before I had a kid, I grew 4 like Christmas trees in my backyard. They were 14 feet, and
holy fuck!
Yeah. They were enormous. Because legally you're allowed to have 4 plants on your property.
Right.
So I think
we can have 6.
Oh wow. Okay.
As long as you can have 3 per adult, I think.
Oh, okay.
Up to 6.
We're allowed to have 4 per household, or at least we were. I don't know if the laws have changed. I haven't grown in a while. But there's no size limit, so I grew some fucking
very big ones.
Very, very big. Yeah, like legit Christmas trees in my backyard. And it was this strain called Trainwreck. And so you can
I've heard of that.
Oh, you have? Okay. So
sure. I love all the silly names for weed.
The name is very apt. It is so, well, at least for me, so intense that I couldn't enjoy it. So I've just been giving it away. I honestly have a tiny little bit left, and I've just been giving it to people because I'm like, I can't do anything with this.
It's funny too how like as soon as it went like super legal, like weed lost its like its currency value. Mm-hmm. You know, like it was just like so many people that like, you know, used to sell weed or whatever are just like, all right, whatever. Yeah. I'm out. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It was like a really weird thing. And then like, you know, people like, you know, you'd never get like gifts of weed. Like no one would ever just show up and get, but like, you know, now like people will just say, hey, here's like 2 ounces of weed I grew in my backyard. Check it out. And you're like, oh.
Right. I mean,
it's just,
I would never have allegedly gotten weed in my stocking. You know, that would never have happened. Never, ever. Because that would not be responsible or legal at the time. And for legal purposes,
I do kind of miss for legal purposes, but I do kind of miss the going to sketchy places to get weed a little bit, like just a little bit.
Yeah,
you know.
The only
like I guess it's been a while, but I like to know that it still exists.
Yeah, and the dude that wants to smoke your weed.
Somebody has to sit on a couch feeling super fucking uncomfortable because like this old man made you smoke a bowl, then before he would give you that shitty eighth of weed,
right?
And now you're just like you and your buddies are on this couch, just like listening to this dude grill about some shit,
and you're like, how do we get the fuck?
That's a personal experience, by the way.
Oh, you know? Yeah, I think we've all got that.
We used to get it from a dude that like, I mean, literally, we would just be sitting there. Like, remember Boogie Nights?
Yes.
Like, it always felt like that scene where, like, the guy comes out in his bathrobe there, and they're all sitting on the couch, and he's all coked up, and, like, Cosmo's throwing the firecrackers, and, like, everybody's just all keyed up and nervous. Like, that's how it felt.
Oh my god.
But it was just weed.
Yeah.
You know? Now you go into the fucking corner store and you get weed that's 100 times better.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wild.
Like, oh man. Yeah, I think all of us, I think anybody that's ever purchased weed has that story where they're sitting on the couch and they're like, oh my god, I don't want to be here. And then the dude sells you the weed and then wants to smoke a joint with you out of the weed that you just bought from him. It's like, well, wait, no.
Yeah.
No.
You're like, dude.
You smoke your weed and I'll smoke mine.
Yeah, I just paid for this. I'll smoke it however I want.
Yeah. Fucking nightmare.
Those are the days.
But also just for legal purposes, when I say giving the weed away, what I mean is I will let somebody smoke it a little bit in my backyard at the residence. Not that I'm giving large amounts away, because that wouldn't be cool. I don't do that.
Oh, I give away truckloads.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got fucking semis rolling out of here every day.
Right, yes, of course.
Giving away weed. I don't.
No, of course not. I mean, I think you would need a lot more than 6 plants to fill a semi-truck.
Right.
But
just sounds funnier.
Oh, yeah, of course. Dude, never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Right.
Right.
No, I know.
Or a good
song
time. For that matter.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, real quick.
Oh, I've had that. Like what? No, go ahead.
No, sorry. Finish.
No, I've had people like tell me what a song is about that I wrote. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. And they're like, no, I'm not wrong. It's about, and I'm like, dude, I wrote the fucking song. Like, I know what it's about. So yeah, I get it.
I do. Like,
were you going to try to stump me with some song lyrics? Is that what you were going to do?
No. That was just for people like Gusapalooza, and I was really trying to do layups for those folks. And some of them, I couldn't believe how.
Neither could I. I was a booth over, and you're like singing song, and I'm like, how are they not getting that? I'm like, no, Rusty Cage, Soundgarden, come on, get it.
Right? It's like, and I was even singing the melody to them, and still they're like, I don't know. And it's like, okay.
Some people didn't get it.
And like, I thought I had a layup for this one lady. It was like, she gave me the decade, she gave me everything, and I was like, oh, sweet. I made an assumption. I was wrong, obviously, but I did Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder. Thought it was going to be a layup. Right. I thought it was a layup. And she's just like, I have no idea. And then I was like, oh, it's Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder. She's like, well, why the fuck would I know that? And I was like, because
you're a human being, and you live on this planet, and it's fucking Stevie Wonder,
right?
Like, I don't know, because why wouldn't you?
Because it's got one of the coolest riffs ever written,
right?
In it. That it's so good. It's so good. Right?
Yeah, it's on fucking jams.
It's so great. It's so great. How do you anyway? And then there were a couple of people, like one dude, I think he even had a Nirvana shirt on. So I did the lyric was about a girl, and he's like, oh, Nirvana. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Because I was trying to not, totally stump people, and I didn't want to be brutal with them, but it was like, come on, how do you not know this? But then some people, there was a young lady that just boom immediately was she got Toxicity by System of a Down immediately, and I was like, good for you, kid, that's awesome, because she was like 17.
Software version 7.0.
That's the one.
Right?
Yep, that's it. That's it.
The one.
And she knew it immediately, and I was like, okay, cool. But yeah,
you're like, I like you.
Yeah, I was like, right on. High five. Have a gift bag. But dude, Gus was so great. The whole vibe, I think, was the coolest part of the entire experience.
Especially like I was there by myself. Like, I was like not only at a festival by myself, but I was in a country that I haven't been to since the 90s.
Yeah.
And I was there by myself, 9 hours from home, and didn't really know what to expect,
Yeah.
And it was like the greatest, like right from the beginning, it was just the greatest time. And I felt comfortable, which is not something that, like I'm a social person and I can but like I can also be a withdrawn person if I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily like, something good happening or something bad happened, but if I'm not comfortable, then I'm fucked up. But like I was comfortable right out of the gate, and like every single person that like stopped by the booth, like I had great conversations with people. I met friends. There was this group of dudes that were every couple hours would come walking by, and every time they saw me, they'd come over and pull out a joint, and we'd smoke a joint, shoot the shit for a couple minutes, and they'd leave. And then 3-4 hours later, I'd see him come walking over, and he'd signal, "Oh, smoke a joint, yeah, come on." And just dudes that I met. And I met you guys. I met I'm even wearing my my Bad Music Club.
That's awesome, dude. Hey, nice.
Yeah, and I'm doing we're doing weekly segments on each other's podcasts.
Oh,
now.
That's fantastic. Actually, those guys are going to be those dudes are going to be on the show in a couple of weeks, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. They're funny.
Yeah, so we do every week now. I send them. They even made me, like their little monster dudes.
Yeah.
They even made me a monster.
What?
I'm a Wendigo. Yeah, I'm a Wendigo with an orange pork pie and fucking nerd glasses. But so every week I send them a band from down here in the Albany area, and they send me a band that was on their show, and then we play them on each other's podcasts.
Oh, that's fantastic. So on that note, let's talk about Unsigned Unwind and Unsigned 518.
Yeah. So Unsigned 518 is, it's been 2.5 years, I think, and it's basically just a sit-down conversation with someone in the local music scene. And because, it's my show, I don't have to adhere to, it's not like they have to be unsigned or they have to be from the 518. I've had, I had a guy from Seattle who used to live in Albany. And he was like, "Can I come on the show?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, whatever." But that's kind of, I'll get to the Unwind because it's a little different. Sure. But so it comes out every Tuesday, and it's, I sit down with a band or musician or venue owner or promoter or someone, someone in the scene, and we have just like a free-form conversation and play a couple songs. I add them in post, add a couple songs off their studio releases, or I've had, bands do acoustic performances in here. I've had full rock bands in here doing, a live performance for the show. And that's basically what that is. Like I said, every Tuesday. And it grows in a way that kind of helps achieve my mission. 'Cause my mission is to get groups of small pockets of local musicians to know about each other and be networking and doing stuff for each other in real life, I guess. And the show grows because every week, I have a band, and they're, people that will listen to the show and help spread the word a little bit, and it gets everybody knowing about each other, I guess. But
which is awesome.
So that's the long and short of Unsigned 518. And then the Unwind is every other Wednesday, and what that is it's specifically outside of the 518, like any band in the US or Canada.
Nice.
So it's over the phone, and they're short. They're usually 15-minute episodes.
Right.
And it's a quick, hey, let's get to know you, play a song, and then we're out. And best thing about that is I don't know anything about the bands before I call.
Oh, cool.
I have a friend of mine is the showrunner, and her name is Angela Taranjo, and she does all the outgoing and incoming correspondence, and she basically, on days we record, she'll be like, you have, this person at this time, here's a name, a phone number, and their band name, if applicable.
That's
all I know. So
real quick,
yeah.
I just got a signal that we're running out of time for the
All right.
Pet Rock version of this.
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Well, we can go into overtime too, which will then be aired on Spotify and on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. But we are running out of time for radio. Tell everybody where they can find your band, Unsigned Unwind, Unsigned 518, everything. Where can they find all that stuff?
Everything can be found, like the band, the way you get around having shortwave radios appear is Shortwave, and then it's Radioband, which is all one word, RADIOBAND, just all one word. Shortwave is one word, Radioband another, and we're everywhere you find music. Unsigned Unwind and Unsigned 518 are actually found right in the same feed, which is just everything is under Unsigned 518. Again, all one word. That's my, I don't know, stylistic bullshit, but it's Unsigned 518, all one word, and you can get both shows right in the same feed.
Cool.
Yeah.
So YouTube, where?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. They show up. I have a YouTube because I don't really do video much.
Okay.
So it's just like a picture of the episode,
right,
album cover while the audio plays. But yeah, it's on YouTube.
Nice. Cool. Okay. So with all that, then, is there social media stuff like Facebook, Instagram, yada, yada, yada?
Yep. Same. Shortwave Radioband. It's _shortwave _radioband _. But if you just type in shortwave Radioband, it'll pop up. And Unsigned 518. I do have a Instagram page for Unsigned Unwind, but I'm actually going to shut it down.
Okay.
Because I have like 300 followers on that, but I've got like 4-something thousand on Unsigned 518. So I'm just going to consolidate both shows right into the same Instagram feed. So just go to @Unsigned 518 on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or Spotify or Pocket Cast or Overcast or any of them.
Right on. Cool. We'll have links to everything too. I'll get actually, if you don't mind, when this is done, just shoot me a list of all the links to everything, and it'll be in the podcast description, so that people can find all kinds of cool stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So for the radio stuff, thank you so much, Andy, for doing all this. Thanks to Pet Rock for putting this out, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Okay. So for the overtime stuff, I got to catch my train of thought now that I did an ending for the other thing, because this is the first one I've done it for. So thank you for helping me be branching out past what I was
you get
doing.
two people that talk a lot,
I know, right? Man, that hour went really fast.
Are we still on the air?
We're still on the air, but it's legal in It's legal in Canada, so
it's legal in New York too.
Mm-hmm. So we're good. Everything's totally groovy.
I wouldn't have cared if it wasn't legal anyway.
Yeah, who cares? Dude, I gotta say, you buried the lead on your bass playing. You said that you weren't, like, just the way the self-deprecation when you were talking about it at Gus, you were like downplaying what you were able to do.
Yeah, and I almost don't know if like the self-deprecating is just like a way to curb expectations,
sure.
To like, because like, I mean, I understand, I guess, that I know how to play, but like, I'm just not like technical, like when I listen to like your stuff, I'm like, ooh, fuck, that dude knows how to play.
Oh, well.
You know what I mean? Like when I listen to my stuff, I'm doing, like 3-4 chord songs, and I'm mostly just, like I said, just ding 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 ding, like, and not doing riffs or bass lines, so to speak.
Dude, a riff is just either a chord or a scale that's slightly reworked. It's all the same shit. Like,
Right.
Also, like,
I do have some, because we are working on and this will be great content for the after show. We're in the middle of recording an album.
yeah, that's
And we've never recorded more than one song at a time. Like, we've always just written a song, record it, release it, and then write another song, record it, release it. We've never done more than one song at a time, and we've got an 8-song album.
Oh, cool.
All new originals, like mostly recorded. The bass is done. The drums are done.
Nice.
Lead guitars are done. Like, rhythm guitars are, I think, half done.
Sweet.
And then, trumpet and vocals.
Cool.
And so, yeah, it's going to be sick. But I do have some more bass line stuff in that.
Nice.
But a lot of it, too, came right on the spot, like, while we were recording it.
Yeah.
The producer, who's actually the band Erie, who I want to get on Gussapalooza,
Right.
is their front man is the guy who's producing our album, TJ Foster.
Oh, nice.
So, like, there'd be stuff where he'd be like, hey, what, try this. What if you added this? And, little little walking things that are, like, really cool, and we came up with, like, on the spot. And now, like, as I'm playing them, I'm like, ooh, okay, this is gonna open up more shit for the next time. Like,
Dude, that's
it's
awesome.
a cool process. Like, yeah,
Yeah. And
like, especially only doing one song at a time, then to be like, no, we're doing 8 of them. Because one song you bang out in one session.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd go to and then, a week later, it's like, the song's done. This is, like, kind of cool, because it's like, over the course of weeks, we're recording this.
Yeah,
instead
absolutely.
of hours or whatever. So that's a cool experience.
That's super exciting, man. What's cool too is once you unlock some of those doors one time, there's so much easier to walk through again and again and again, and then you can start putting your own spin on previous thoughts that make them fresh for whatever you're trying the next time. I don't know if you're interested at all, but I know I sent you a link to the singles that I've got online, but there's actually a full-length 14-track album that I recorded that's not released yet, but I have links to them in a Google Drive. If you want, when this is all wrapped up, I can send you a link to the Google Drive if you want to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like,
absolutely,
it's a weird-ass concept album. It very Pink Floyd-y.
And, like, the other thing too is, like, in addition to, like, Unsigned 518 and Unsigned Unwind, I do I call it the Weekend Spotlight. It's Unsigned 518's Weekend Spotlight, just to keep the branding in.
For sure.
But it's typically just like hey, here's what's, I record it Wednesday afternoon, release it at midnight, and it's just like here's what's happening Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I do put a lot of music in that, and lately I've been, because obviously I'm in it for the music, rather than hear me talking, I'm, and I would always be like, oh, this band is playing tonight, here's a song. This band is playing tomorrow, here's a song. But now I'm like, this band is playing, here's a song just for the hell of it. This band is playing, and here's a song, and here's 3 more songs just for the hell, so I'm just adding more music into it. So I'll throw some of your shit in.
Oh, cool. Yeah, cool. Thanks, man. That'd be great.
'Cause like I said, I'm trying to meld the worlds, I guess.
Yeah, dude, all that cross-pollination kind of thing. That's the move, I think. And I think that's what's going to make all the different scenes that seem to really coalesce at Gussapalooza. It's going to help everybody kind of spread out a little more, which I think is very, very cool. It'll make it almost more of an international community as opposed to being so localized. Right. Not that we don't all love our local scenes, but to be able to grow out is awesome.
For sure, but like all local scenes have those that go outside of the local scene. And, I always, say like there's the bands that, want to stay local. Yep. Which is where I am. Like this is where we are. And then there's bands that want to branch out and do some regional tours and then come back. And then there's those bands that are like, get me out of this market move me on to bigger and better thing. And that's all fine. But having, talking to you guys and talking to like, Bad Music Club, and like it's making just like these tendrils like almost touch, where bands that want to tour regionally can now be like, oh, I'm going to reach out to Dawson and see, if he knows anybody that's looking for an opening act or someone to share a bill on this date or whatever. And then it creates things, and
it's magic.
In the world of regional music, an 8-hour drive is not crazy.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I mean? Like
super quick.
It's not crazy at all.
Sorry, super quick. This again, Zoom room is about to shut down. We've got like 1 minute on this. If we want to reload another one, I'm totally down to do it. Cause
we can wrap it up. I gotta go grocery shopping.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry, dude.
No worries, dude.
But this was great. If you're down with it, man, I'd love to do another one. I do have
anytime, man.
Okay, awesome. We'll talk and we'll set up another one. But this was so much fun, Andy.
Hell yeah.
Thanks again, and thanks for sticking around for the overtime, man. And we'll talk again soon.
Hell yeah. All right, Dawson.
All right, rock and roll, brother. Later. Peace.